Hello, good morning, everyone. We're going to start with Oxford publication, R.S. Sharma, India's Ancient Past. In this book, I have seen like total content is 33 chapters. So we'll try to cover all of the chapters with every single line. We're going to cover every chapter, every single line. And before starting, first, today we're going to start with the first chapter, that is the significance of ancient Indian history. So let's see what is there in this chapter. So stay connected, everyone. Let's start. So let's start with the first chapter, the significance of ancient Indian history. The study of ancient Indian history is important for the several reasons. It tells us how, when, and where the people developed the earlier cultures in India, how they began undertaking agriculture and stock raising, which made the life secure and settled. And it shows that how the ancient Indian discovery and utilize the natural resources and how they create the means of their livelihood. We get an idea of how the ancient inhabitant made agreements for food, shelter, and transport, and learn how they took to the farming, spinning, weaving, metalworking, and the like how they cleared the forest, founded village cities, and eventually the large kingdoms. The people are not considered civilized unless they know how to write. The different form of writing is prevalent in India. Today are all derived from the ancient scripts, and this is also true of the language and that we speak today. The languages we use have roots in the ancient times and have developed through the ages. Unity in diversity. Ancient Indian history is interesting because many races and tribes is intermingled in early India. The pre-Aryans and the Indo-Aryans, the Greek, the Asians, the Huns and Turks, and the other made the India their home. The each ethnic group has contributed it might to the evolution of the Indian social systems, art, culture, language, and literature, and all these peoples and their cultural traits is commingled so inextricably that currently and they can be clearly identified in their original forms, are remarkable features of the ancient Indian cultures and has been commonly of cultural elements is from the north and south and from east to west. The Aryan elements are equated with the Vedic and Puranic culture are of the north and the pre-Aryans with the Dravidian and the Tamil culture of the south. However, the many Munda, Dravidian and the other non-Sanskritic terms occurs in the Vedic text is ascribed to 1500 to 500 BCs, and they indicate the ideas as institutions, products, and settlement is associated with the peninsular and the non-Vedic India. Similarly, the many Pali and Sanskrit terms signifies the idea, and the institutions is developed in the Gangatic plains as appears in the earliest Tamil text is called the Sangam literature, which is roughly used for the period of 300 BC, AD 600, and the eastern region is inhabited by the pre-Aryan tribals is made its own contribution. The people of this area spoke the Munda and the Kolarian, and language is several terms that glorifies the use of the cotton navigation and digging and sticks, etc. In the Indo-Aryan languages have been traced to the Munda language by linguistics. All through there are many Munda packets in the Chotanagpur Plateau. The remnants of the Munda culture in the Indo-Aryan and culture are fairly strong, and many Dravidian terms too are to be found in the Indo-Aryan languages. It is held that the changes in the phonetics and vocabulary of the Vedic literature can be explained as much on the basis of the Dravidian influence as that of the Munda. The India has since the ancient time has been the land of the several religions, and ancient India can saw the birth of the Brahmanisms and Brahmanism or Hinduism, Jainism and Buddhism. But all these culture and religion is intermingled and interacted. Thus, through the Indian speaks the different languages, practice different religion, and observe different social customs, and they follow the certain common styles of life. Our country shows a deep underlining and unity. Despite the great diversities, the ancient strove for unity. The Indian subcontinent was geographically well defined, and geographical unity was supplemented by the cultural integration, and through their existence as many state, language, culture, and communities, as gradually the people develop the territorial identities. These states or the territory unity is called Janapath, one named after the different tribes. However, the country as a whole is came to be named the Aryabharta after a dominant culture after dominant culture community is called Aryan. Aryabharta denotes the northern and the central India and extended from the eastern to the western coast. The other name by which the India was better known as the Bharatvarsha or the land of the Bharatas, Bharata, in the sense of the tribal or the family figures in the Rig Veda and the Mahabharata. But the name Bharatvarsha is occurs in the Mahabharata, the post-Gupta Sanskrit text, and this name was applied to the one of its nine division of the earth, and in the post-Gupta period, it has denoted the India. The term Bharati or an inhabitant of India is occurred in the post-Gupta text. Iranian inscriptions are the important for the origin of the term Hindus, and the term Hindu is occurred in the inscription of the 5th to 6th centuries, and it is derived from the Sanskrit text that is the Sindhu. Linguistically, he becomes H in the Iranian, and Iranian inscription is the first mention the Hindu as a distinct on the Indus, and therefore in the earliest stage, the term Hindu means a territorial unit, and it is neither indicated a religion nor a community. Our ancient poet, philosophers, writers viewed the country as an integral unit. They spoke the land stretches from the Himalaya to the sea as a proper domains of the single universal monarchy. That is, the kings who tried to establish their authorities from Himalaya to the Cape of Comoran and the valley of Brahmaputra in the eastern to the land beyond the Indus in the west were universally praised, and they were called Chakravartis. And this forms the political unity and attained at least twice in the ancient times. In the 3rd century BC, Ashoka extended his empire over the whole India and during the extreme south. And these inscriptions are scattered across the major part of the Indo-Pakistan subcontinent and even in the Afghanistan. Again, in the 4th century, Samudragupta inscribed his victorious arm from the Ganga to the border of Tamil Nadu, and in the 7th century, Chalukya king Pulkesin has defeated the Harshvardhana, who is called the Lord of the whole of the North India. Despite the lack of a political unity, the political formations of all over the India is assumes more or less a single form. The idea that the India constituted the one single geographical unit persisted in the minds of the conquerors and the cultural leaders. The unity of India was also recognized by the foreigners, and they first came into a contact with the people is living on the Sindhus. And thus, so they name the entire country after the river. The word Hind or Hindu is derived from the Sanskrit term that is Hindu, and on the same basis, the country became known as India, and which is very close to the Greek terms for it. The India is came to be called Hind, and in the Persian and Arabian language in the post-Kushan and times, the Aryan ruler has conquered the Sindh area and named it Hindu Kush. And we found the continuing efforts to establish the linguistic and the cultural unity in India. In the 3rd century BC, Prakrit is served as the a lingua franca across the major part of India. The Ashoka inscriptions were inscribed in the Prakrit languages, mainly in Brahmin and scripts, and later the Sanskrit acquired the same position and served the state language in the remote part of India. And this process was conspicuous during the Gupta period in the 4th century, although the India witnessed the rise of the numerous small states during the Gupta period. And official documents were written in Sanskrit. The another notable facts is that the ancient epic, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, were studied with the same zeal and devotion in the land of the Tamils and in the intellectual circles of the Banaras and Tixila. It's originally composed in the Sanskrit, and various versions of these epics were produced in the different local languages. However, whatever the form in which the Indian culture values the idea were expressed, the subsistence and remained largely the same throughout the India. The Indian history is especially worthy of our attentions because of the peculiar type of social systems and which developed in India. In the North India, the Varna caste systems is developed, which eventually spread throughout the country and influenced even the Christians and the Muslims, and even and convert to the Christianity, Islams, and continue to follow some of their old caste practices of Hinduism. The relevance of the past to the present. The study of India's past assumes the special significance in the context of the problems, and we currently faced. Some people clamor for the restorations of the ancient culture and civilization, and substantial number of the sentimentally swayed by what they considered to be the past glories of India. And this is the different from the concern for the preservations of the ancient heritage in the art and architecture, and when what they really want to bring back in the old pattern of the society and culture. This demands a clear and the correct understanding of the past, and there is no doubt that the Indians of the old made remarkable progress in a variety of the field. But these advances is alone cannot enable us to compete with the achievement of the modern science and technology, and we cannot ignore the fact that ancient Indian society was marked by the gross social injustice. The lower order the lower orders, as particularly the Shudras and untouchables, were incubed with the disabilities, and which are shocking in the modern mind. And similarly, the law and customs is discriminate against the woman in the favor of men. The restoration of the old ways of life will naturally revive and strengthen all these inequalities. Is the success of the ancient and surmounting the difficulties is presented by the nature and the human factors, and can build out our hopes and confidence in the future. But any attempt to bring back the past will means the perpetuations of the social inequalities and that afflicted India. All this makes it essential for us to understand that what the past means. And we have many survivals of the ancient, medieval, and the later times, and persisting in the past. The old norms, values, and the social customs and rituals is the practice are so deeply ingrained in the minds of the people, and that they cannot easily themselves is get rid of them. Unfortunately, the survival is inhibit the development of the individual and the country, and we deliberately fostered in the colonial times. The India cannot develop the rapidly unless such vestiges of the past are eradicated from its society. The caste systems and sectarianisms and hinder the democratic integrations and the development of India. The caste barriers and prejudice do not allow even educated individuals to appreciate the dignity of the manual labor and hamper our unifications for our common cause. And through the women have enfranchised their age old social subordinations and prevents them from playing their due role in the society. And this is the true to of the lower or orders of the society. The study of the ancient past helps us deeply examine the root of these prejudices and discover the cause of sustain the caste system, subordinate women, and promote the narrow religious sectarian. Um, the study of the ancient Indian history is therefore relevant is not only to those who want to understand the true nature of the past, but also to those who seeks to understand the nature of the obstacles and hampers the India progress as a nation.